Welcome back to our interview experience live. This is me, Janvi, on behalf of Prep and Stuff. And we have Akash here with us, and he is going to interview us for LNT for the role of graduate engineer trainee. So, welcome, Akash. Can you please introduce our audience?
Yeah. First of all, hello, ma'am. I'm Akash. Currently, I'm pursuing my fourth year of engineering in ECE branch in Panimalar Institute of Technology, Chennai.
Okay.
Uh, I've been placed in L&T Infotech, LTI,
Yeah.
as a graduate engineer trainee.
Yeah.
Get.
Okay. Thank you, Akash, for introducing yourself. I hope all of our audience has joined us and they are going to join us. More people are going to join us in the interview session. So, let's begin with the session over here. First question first, was it an on campus or an off campus drive for the audience to know?
Yeah, ma'am. On campus is that which the college sends all the information, and the companies contact the
Yeah.
college for the students
Yeah.
recruitment. So
Okay. Hmm.
off campus, we have to search for the company's vacancies.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So LNT was for this particular drive was an on campus drive for you?
yeah, this was an on campus trip
This
for
was
me.
an on campus drive. All right. So that means all the information was given to you by the college itself and no other source.
Yeah, it was given by the college.
Yeah. Okay. So let's begin with the first step. So what was your plan when you registered yourself for this particular drive? So how did you start planning your studies and preparations?
Uh, this was the first company in the college on campus drive, ma'am.
Okay.
We got an information from the L&T Infotech that there will be a recruitment drive happening in the college. It was around September 2nd we got it.
Mm-hmm.
They also told that we'll be having a technical round, all the interview process, pre-placement talks.
Okay.
Uh, After that, after 4 days, we had an aptitude round.
Okay.
So during those,
Within, yeah, so you had only 4 days in between to actually sit for the preparations and give the test,
yeah.
right? So what was your preparation strategy that you planned?
Uh, so uh, we also know that placements were starting from fourth year.
Yeah.
So I was just going through some basic aptitude questions.
Hmm.
So the first round was the aptitude on which was on
Okay.
September 6th.
Okay.
So I didn't exactly prepare much, ma'am.
Okay. So the aptitude test was the first round that you had to sit for,
Yeah.
right? So what was the test all about? Like how many rounds did you have and what did you actually encounter in the test?
It was aptitude round which was consisting of a logical,
Mhm.
quantitative round and then reasoning round, verbal ability.
Verbal ability. All right. So only these three rounds were there. There was no added technical or coding or pseudocode, anything.
No, the coding
Was
round was after this round.
okay. It was purely aptitude. All
Yeah.
right. So let's discuss the aptitude now a little. So there were three sections. Obviously, we know. So can you tell me like the difficulty level of each sections, or let's say the important topics that you might encounter?
For me, the quant were a little bit tough, man.
Okay, the quantitative aptitude was tough. Now
Yeah.
that is basically, it's a dreaded subject for most of us,
Yeah.
right? It's a very dreaded subject.
Yeah.
So how did you prepare for it? Like, did you have already a good skill, or you know?
Actually, the quant is just a basic mathematics.
Yeah.
I was just going through some googling and YouTube videos for solving some questions.
Okay, so that is the method that you tried.
Yeah.
You went all over the internet and you got everything. You practiced everything that you got.
Yeah.
Right. So, do you remember any important topic that you think the question was very difficult, or this is something that is repetitive in question?
In quant, I remember that we had more questions related to ratios
Okay.
uh, and percentage, time, speed. So
Okay.
there were repetitive questions regarding these topics, ma'am.
Okay. So, this is for the audience over here. If you want to, practice aptitude, make sure that you put a little like extra focus on ratios and what were the other topics?
The percentage,
Percentages.
yeah, and the speed, distance,
And speed,
etc.
time, and distance. So these
Yeah.
are the three topics that you think you might just put a little more effort, right? Okay, so moving towards the second section, that was the verbal or the logical section.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. So
Uh,
let's talk about logical first.
yeah, in logical, there were simple questions regarding the direction senses
Okay.
and puzzle solving.
Okay. So it wasn't very difficult that you had to sit like brainstorm a
Yeah,
lot.
ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. It need not be prepared. We can solve it easily, ma'am.
Okay. So like if you have a basic preparation, you
Yeah,
can solve the
yeah, ma'am.
section. And then we come towards the verbal section.
In verbal section, we had some questions regarding active passive voice
Okay.
and this grammar mistakes. Find the,
Grammar,
yeah,
yeah, error
grammar.
identification kind of
Yeah,
questions. All right. So again, as Akash has said that the first round, the aptitude round was completely aptitude. It consisted of three rounds. It was logical, verbal, and quantitative aptitude.
yeah,
And it was moderate in difficulty. We can say that.
yeah.
Okay. So this was the first round. What happened after this? Like when did you receive the mail and what were the round that followed?
Yeah, ma'am. This round was on September 6th. Uh,
Okay.
on September 7th, we got a mail regarding the shortlisted students, 7th.
Okay.
And the next round was a communication round, which
Okay.
was on September 8th.
September. So you had the first exam on September 6th.
Yeah,
You
ma'am.
got the results on September 7th, and then on September 8th, you had the
Yeah,
communication
yeah.
test. All right. So let's discuss the communication test a little.
Uh,
So
yeah, ma'am.
yeah, what was the difficulty level and what were the types of question? Because this is a very new section that every other company is trying to install in their selection process. So what was the kind of questions that you encountered?
Yeah, ma'am. So in communication round, we had questions like there will be a sentence which will be shown on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to read out the sentence aloud, and
Okay.
so the environment should be silenced, ma'am.
Yes. So you should have a very quiet surrounding.
Yeah, ma'am.
Very important, yes.
And
So yeah.
so that was one type of question, and
Hmm.
another type of question was that there will be a conversation between two people,
Hmm.
so we have to complete the conversation.
Okay. So like the conversation, one part would come from the system itself.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, and then you had to complete it on the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
end.
And
Okay.
the third round, third type of question was that we have to just fill in the blanks. When there were
Okay.
the system would read out the sentence, so we
Hmm.
have to fill in the blank.
So you have to verbally fill out the blanks, or did you have anything to mark or answer? It
No,
was
ma'am. It was
verbally.
purely verbally.
And the options were given to you, or was it a
N-
direct FUB?
No, ma'am. It was the option wasn't given.
Options weren't given, it was
Yeah,
only FUB you had to
yeah,
answer. Okay, so you had three sections in the communication round.
yeah,
It was the speaking, let's say,
yeah,
right? Reading of the sentences and then conversation and then grammar, basic
yeah.
grammar,
Basically.
right? All right. So, Akash, like for this particular round, did you have any prior preparation that you had to do, or was it like it was on the spot and you were confident enough that yes, I can crack it out?
Uh, uh, Actually, this round was new for everyone, ma'am. So we
Yes.
didn't have any preparations. It was on the spot.
Okay, it was on the spot. So
Yeah.
you think that you fared really well because obviously you got selected, right?
Yeah. For the first few questions, I was nervous. Then,
Yeah.
yeah, it got better.
Yeah, it slowly creeps into it that yeah, we have to sit for this particular test like this. All
Yeah.
right. So all the audience who is watching this particular round, make sure that you know that L&T also takes the communication assessment down, and this is basically for on campus,
Yeah, ma'am.
right? We don't even know for the off campus yet, but it is for on campus that you have an aptitude section first, and then you have the communication round as well.
Yeah.
So this communication round was an elimination round, Akash.
Yeah. All the rounds is elimination round, ma'am.
Okay, so it is also an elimination round.
Yeah.
All right. So one, and can you tell me the duration for the test?
Yeah. This communication round lasted for around 1.5 hours, ma'am.
Okay, 1.5 hour because
Yeah.
normally communication rounds happen for 40 to 45 minutes. This was
Yeah, ma'am.
1.5 hour.
Yeah.
Okay, it's quite a long and tedious time
Yeah, ma'am.
to pass. Yeah. Okay, so after the communication round, let's move towards the third round. What was it? And okay, so before that, when did you get the selection mail for the second round that you have cleared it?
Yeah. So the after 2 days of this round, around September 10th, I think, ma'am, we got an selection mail,
Okay,
shortlisted students mail for the coding round, ma'am.
for the coding round. So here
Yeah.
comes the master.
Yeah.
Here comes the coding round. All right, so let's talk about the coding round. Let's talk, everything that was included in this particular round. All right. So the coding round was on 8th of September.
No, ma'am, it was around 11th of September.
Okay. So on 8th, you got the mail,
Yeah, ma'am.
selection mail. After two
Yeah,
days, you're going to have the coding round.
yeah,
All right. So what was your mindset? What was going on in your head? Because this is the first placement exam that you have been sitting for,
yeah,
right?
ma'am.
So how did you go around the practice and what steps did you take?
I was just thinking of how to get practice from for the coding round, and
Hmm.
didn't actually know what were the questions going to be asked.
Yeah.
So I was going through Google and got to know about the prep Insta, ma'am.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, so I actually practiced the coding around using this prep Insta. We have some questions, related
Yes.
questions.
Yes. We do
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
Yes. So it's for the audience as well that if you want all you like you also want to prepare for the coding round, we definitely have the top 100 codes page for the students and it is for free. So if you want to, test your coding knowledge and you want to learn coding, you can do it from that as well. So, it's going to help you in all the languages, right? So how did you prepare for the coding round?
there were only 2 days, ma'am, to prepare. So
Yes,
I
it's
was
only
just,
2 days.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was just going through recently asked LNT questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just practicing those codes. So,
Yeah.
so I was just a little bit nervous what to do on the coding round.
Yeah, because you have only 2 days, so it's a
Yeah,
very, like less time to prepare for such a big round.
yeah,
Also, it's an elimination round, so you know that the pressure is double, right? So, yes. So, like, there were friends of yours as well who were selected for this round, or did you just, push like through them?
no, ma'am. They were friends also from our class. They were friends.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
and every round was an elimination round, so the nervousness also a bit increased.
Exactly. It like doubles after every round.
Yeah, ma'am.
Once you have passed the aptitude, yes, you have passed one, but there are three more to go, four more
Yeah,
to go.
yeah, ma'am.
Right? So you have passed the aptitude, you have passed the communication, now comes the coding round.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's talk about the coding round. What was the time limit for the coding round?
yeah. It was 45 minutes, ma'am,
Okay, so for only 45 minutes, and how many questions were there?
and there were two questions, ma'am.
Okay, so that is, I think, is going to add another level of pressure that 45 minutes and two questions. So,
Yeah.
what was the difficulty level? And
Uh,
what was going on in your head when you were answering those questions?
Actually, the difficulty was an intermediate level, ma'am.
Okay,
So one question was an intermediate level, and one was some bit difficult than the first question.
okay.
So there were totally two questions, ma'am.
Total two questions.
Yeah.
And a lot of students have this query that whether you can change the preferred language for the two questions, or do you have to stick with the same language for the two questions? Do you have any idea about that?
No, ma'am. We can. We are flexible to change between any language, ma'am.
Okay. So let's talk about the first question. Do you remember, like, do you have little memory of what the question was and what language did you choose to answer?
Yeah. So I answered both the questions in Python, ma'am.
Python.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
think Python is going to be a lot, preferred language for a lot of students right now.
yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, and also like if you are a Prime subscriber and if others are not, and if you want to, ace yourself in, let's say, coding languages, it can be Python, it can be DSAs, it can be C, C++, Java. We have the entire courses on the same. So if you have looked through it, you are going to know a lot of information about how to use these languages in your questions. Right. So yeah, you used Python for the two
Yeah, ma'am.
questions. What was the first question about, if you have any memory?
Yeah. So first question goes like, in we have a list of numbers, ma'am. We have to give
Mm-hmm.
a list of numbers as an input.
Okay.
So those, if we are having, suppose we have eight numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So the first four numbers goes in ascending order, and the
Okay.
last four numbers goes in descending order.
Okay.
So if we are in odd digits, we have to change into accordingly, ma'am.
Accordingly. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the first question, and you think that you had prepared enough to answer it within, let's say, 20 minutes?
Yeah, ma'am. So due to nervousness, it took a lot for me actually. First question,
Okay.
so, then it got better.
And the second question, let's talk about that.
So I think the second question was bit difficult.
Mhm.
So we had like, there was given that you're given like buses, ma'am.
Okay.
So in the buses, whether if they alternately we have to stop the bus in the bus stop.
Okay.
So say we have two buses and there are
Hmm.
10 stopping.
Stops. So you have
Yeah,
to compile a code like.
yeah. Compile a code like the first bus goes in the first stop, and but
Hmm.
the first bus should not stop in the second stop.
Second stop. Okay, so
Yeah,
they should alternatively stop
yeah,
at
yeah, ma'am.
stops. Okay, so that's quite a tricky question, but I think obviously you scored well in that question as
Yeah.
well.
In this question, I got only one case correct, ma'am. Second
Okay.
case got wrong.
Okay, but any which way you were
Yeah,
selected, so that's the
yeah,
positive light.
yeah,
But again, do you think that if you had more time in preparation, you would have also passed the second case here?
yeah, ma'am.
Definitely, because you definitely need time to practice this,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay, so the coding round had two questions
mm,
for 45 minutes, and it
yes,
was
ma'am.
intermediate level.
Yeah.
So this is all for the audience coming directly from Akash that the third round, that was a coding round, elimination round, was quite difficult, intermediate level, and there were two questions. He has also described the questions. So if you want to, prepare and you want to know what the question was, you can definitely go back and listen to what he has just said. All right, Akash. So third round over, you have passed this particular round. So when did you receive the mail for it?
So this round the mail we got a little bit late. Around it took around 5 minutes, 5 days, ma'am.
5 days. Okay, so
Yeah,
the first mail I think came within one day.
yeah, ma'am.
The second mail came after the
2 days.
second day only.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2 days.
yeah,
And this came after 5 days.
yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so this was a selection
Selection.
mail.
Yeah, ma'am.
Then comes the fourth round.
Fourth
What was
round
the
was
fourth
the,
round?
and it was the technical round, which was on September 22nd.
Okay, so you had another technical round as well.
Yeah,
This
ma'am.
was the interview round?
Yeah, ma'am. It was face-to-face interview.
Okay, technical interview round.
Yeah,
Okay, so interview day.
yeah, ma'am.
Let's talk about the interview. So, how did you prepare? So, how many days were left before you actually had to go for the interview?
So we got an mail late, so we had around 3 to 4 days for preparation, ma'am.
So, like just after the mail was sent out to you had to sit for the interview for the very next day.
Yeah, I had 2 days to prepare, ma'am.
Okay, so let's say that you passed the coding round, you had
Yeah,
5 days in your
yeah,
hand, and then
yeah,
you
ma'am.
had 2 more days
Yeah, ma'am.
that way.
Yeah, ma'am. But the mail came after only 5 days that we have
Yeah,
got
the mail
shortlisted.
came
Yeah,
after 5 days. So, you
yeah,
were not yet certain that you are going
yeah,
to pass it or not.
yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so let's talk about the interview. So after receiving the mail, you must have gone through some preparation for the interview because it is your first interview, so the pressure's double. You
Yeah,
are
ma'am.
very nervousness on the ultimate level,
Yeah.
right?
So
So yeah,
actually, I gone through some YouTube live like interview experiences, the
yeah,
previous L&T
mhm,
experiences.
yeah.
Also was going through some relatable questions which are going to be asked.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to know that they were asking about DBMS,
Okay,
SQL, and OOPS. They were asking about the OOPS also.
okay. So it
Yeah.
was only technical interview, Akash. There was no HR interview.
No, after the technical, we had the HR
Okay,
round.
so you had another separate HR interview. Normally
Yeah.
they club it together.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so you had the technical interview. So where did you prepare? It was all on Google and YouTube.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the technical interview part. So how was the day? How did it begin?
So yeah, ma'am. So there were time slots given to individual persons.
Hmm.
I had an interview around at 11 a.m. ma'am.
Okay, 11 a.m.
Yeah, in the morning. So I was going through till that I was going through DBMS everything interview questions.
Okay,
So the technical when it got started, it the duration was around it took around 15 to 20 minutes, ma'am.
15 to 20 minutes. Okay, and what were the questions about? And were you very comfortable because I know you were nervous.
Yeah, ma'am. So yeah, ma'am. First, I was sweating a lot
Yeah,
at
it's a
the
first,
interview.
obviously.
Yeah. So the first they asked me to introduce yourself.
Hmm.
Then after introduction, they just asked which language you are comfortable with, programming language. So I told them that I'm good with Python.
Python.
Uh, yeah. Then they asked me to explain projects, ma'am. projects which I've been done.
Okay, so again, projects are very important, definitely.
Yeah.
So, what was the project about? Like, can you give us a little insight?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, I have done project like in the logistics sector, ma'am.
Okay,
We have created a software where we reduce the cost for the consignee and the consigner, ma'am.
okay,
So also we have went to the finals in Smart India Hackathon, which occurred in the month of like August, like that, ma'am.
okay. So you had complete logistic based project,
Yeah, ma'am.
and like, were there very difficult questions from your project, like very in-depth questions, or was it just, general tone about the project?
No, ma'am. They asked me to explain everything about the project.
Okay, so they were very interested in your project. And do you think, like, somewhere where projects hold a very important role in your getting selected in the interview?
Uh, so according to me, it doesn't matter whether the projects is related to selection process or not.
Hmm?
But they see, but they are as usual. They see that they are, as you are not doing the project or not.
Yeah, so
So it is
projects
important. Yeah,
in general are important. You have
yeah,
to get some projects done, right?
yeah,
So, yeah, so after the project questions, were there any more questions, technical questions?
yeah, ma'am. So after that, they asked me like 4 to 5 questions which were
Hmm?
related to Python.
Okay, Python, because you know that your part in
Yeah,
Python was the
yeah, ma'am.
comfortable language. Okay,
Yeah, ma'am.
and after that,
Then they asked me to give a logic for 2 programming questions, ma'am.
okay, so you had
Yeah,
a tough technical
yeah,
interview round,
yeah, ma'am.
right? So, do
So,
you
so
remember the question, if any chance?
yeah, first they asked me what is parsing, ma'am.
Okay.
So I answered that what is parsing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
then they asked the simple question: what is the functions in list?
Okay, functions in list.
Yeah,
Okay, so you were very confident enough to answer these questions?
yeah. This I was confident, but the logic they asked me to give a logic and the algorithm for the programming part.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, I got a bit nervous.
Okay, but again, to see the good light that you cleared the
Yeah, ma'am.
interview, and so this was an overall technical, hardcore technical interview,
Yeah,
right?
ma'am.
There was no HR related, it was purely technical. They talked about your project,
Yeah, ma'am.
and they talked about your preferred language, again very important, and then also about the technical
Yeah,
questions as well. So again, coming out to the audience, this is what you have to prepare for your technical interview. Make sure that you have your projects in place, and if you like don't have a lot of idea about the projects, again, if you're not already a prime subscriber, we also provide projects to you, right? If you don't have a good idea, you can definitely come on to our website and look for good projects. You're going to find very amazing projects on Netflix and everything. So if you want, you can check that out as well. Okay, so projects, technical, done. Let's move towards the HR round, because you also have the HR round,
yeah, ma'am.
right? So when was it, and after how many days did you have it?
Yeah. So we got the technical round results on 30th of September, ma'am.
Okay, so it has
Yeah,
already been a month that you are in the process of LTI selection.
yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so you got the mail on 30th.
30th of
And
September, we
when
got the
was
mail.
the interview scheduled?
Yeah, it was on 14th October.
So it's quite a long
Yeah,
journey,
ma'am.
right? It was 14 days.
Yeah, ma'am.
So, like, did you have any kind of, nervousness breakdown, that what are you going to do? It's 14 days. And how
Yeah,
did you
ma'am.
utilize those 14 days?
So I was just going through the company. I was doing some research which through the company.
Okay.
So about the company, what are they doing, the projects
Hmm.
they are doing,
Hmm.
like that. So I was just making a note of their projects
Hmm.
and
I think this
stuff.
is very important if you want to get selected, because knowing about the company, right,
Yeah,
and researching about it is very important, so that the people know that you are interested to work in their company,
yeah,
right? So again, coming from Akash himself, everyone who is watching this, make sure that whenever you're sitting for an interview of any company, it's not just LTI, make sure that you are having a good research about it, right? So you should be confident enough to tell the panelists that you know about the company. That is going to instill a lot of confidence in them. Okay, so let's talk about the HR interview.
yeah. And the HR round went quite good, ma'am. It was like 10 minutes of round.
Okay. So very
Yeah,
easy, very
yeah,
casual.
yeah,
Yeah.
ma'am. So the manager asked me to introduce yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
Then he asked me why, from being an ECE student, why are you shifting into software?
Hmm.
Then I answered that question, and he also asked me about the again. He asked me about the projects in HR round also.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Then he asked me whether he are you willing to relocate or not.
Okay, so that is very important. How did you answer? Because a lot of students, what they do is when they talk about relocation, they either directly say no,
Yeah,
or
ma'am.
either directly without giving it a thought, they just go and say yes for the sake of getting selected. And then later they decide that no, they don't want to. So, how did you answer?
So I also saw that there are L&T Infotech had branches in Bangalore, Mumbai,
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
So first of all, I love traveling, so I told yes to them straight away.
Okay.
So after relocation question, they asked me who is your role model and stuff like that.
Okay. So it was a purely HR
Yeah,
round
ma'am.
where you're talking about your role models, your relocation, right? But you also had the project section over here. So again, this
Yeah,
reiterating that projects are very, very important,
yeah, ma'am.
right? So make sure that you're putting a lot of hard work and concentration on your projects because you are going to be evaluated based on that, right? So anyone and everyone who's watching this, make sure reiterating that projects are very important for your selection. Okay, so coming back to the HR round, all
Yeah.
the questions sorted, you were, because you had already gone through the technical interview, do you think that your confidence level was on a higher level for the HR round?
Yeah, ma'am. My confidence level actually boosted after the technical round.
Yeah.
But seeing the result last year in our college, they selected only two people for the L&T Infotech out
Okay.
of the whole college. So at that
Okay.
time, I got that even in HR round, they are eliminating people.
They're getting
Yeah,
eliminated, right? So again, the
yeah,
pressure cookers on.
yeah,
Yeah. So you tackled it very well because we can see that you're already placed in there,
yeah.
right? So congratulations on getting placed in LTI. So do you? Okay. So coming back towards the HR round, after how many days did you get a selection mail?
So the final results were out on like after 3 to 4 days, we got the final selection list, ma'am.
Okay, so it has already been 1.5 months in this entire process,
Yeah,
and you are still working hard on it. And when the interview, like when the selection mail comes, obviously you're rejoicing,
yeah, ma'am.
right? Because it has been a very rigorous journey for you, and because it was the first placement, right? So you're I think you had some lucky stars that for the first placement itself you got placed,
Yeah, ma'am.
right? And it doesn't happen to a lot of people, right? So this is going to be good. All right. So if you have guys any question that you want to ask Akash about LTA or any other thing related to interview or selection journey, please drop the comment section of like your questions in the comment section so we can answer it directly, right? Because you're going to get this last chance of asking Akash the questions directly. Before that, Akash, because you have been on a very rigorous journey of 1.5 months and you got selected at the end of it, you must have gone through a lot of milestones, right? And you must have learned something from this journey. So we would love if you could share a couple of tips for the students who are watching this who want to get selected, right?
Uh,
So yeah,
yeah. So according to me, we have to start from the aptitude round itself, ma'am. Preparation.
yeah, yeah.
So aptitude round is the first round which we need to crack to go through the process.
Hmm.
So as nowadays all the companies are eliminating half of the people in the aptitude round.
In the aptitude section.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
So if you clear the aptitude section, the half of the competition you have cleared them easily.
Is that this is
So
a very good point of view that even though it's difficult, if you cross it, half of your competition is eliminated,
yeah, ma'am.
right? So again, it's a very positive mindset that you can ace it and eliminate most of them,
Yes.
right? So starting with aptitude, then next point of it comes from the
So after that, the communication round is bit easy, ma'am. You can clear it. So because everyone is good at English.
hmm. Okay.
Next comes the coding
But
round
still,
where
if you are sitting for the communication round, let's say
yeah,
that someone is, sitting for the first time, like you did.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
what were the precautions that you had to take so that you went through the test successfully?
So for the main thing, you have to have the silent room, ma'am.
Hmm.
Uh, there must also because a few of my friends got rejected due to the noise,
Exactly.
yeah,
So this is
background noise.
very important that all the students who are watching this has to know that you should sit in a very quiet environment, no disturbance coming from anywhere. Also, it was a long 1.5 hour session, so it's very difficult to get a 1.5 hour silence zone,
Yeah, ma'am.
right? So make sure that you're sitting in a very quiet room. All right. So that was the very important point to make sure that in the communication round, right? Okay. The next round comes the coding round.
Coding round. Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
So
So any pro tips from you?
I'm not a pro, as you say,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so you can just prepare by going through recent latest questions by the company. So there
Hmm.
are many Google websites.
Yeah.
So I was going through websites, and I was also going through prep insta questions, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get mostly asked questions which are asked in coding
Exactly.
round.
Yeah,
So you
you
can
that.
have practice with them.
Yeah. So again, practicing makes you perfect. It's not just a phrase, but it's proven as well that if you keep practicing, you are going to improve.
Yeah,
Right? So practice makes even if you're having a very less time, make sure that you are giving all your hard effort in practicing, because only then you can pass the question and pass all the cases as well.
yeah, ma'am.
Right? Okay. So these are your three pro tips for the placement journey. Anything for the interview?
So interview we have to mainly they are asking about the DBMS, ma'am, database
Okay,
management.
DBMS.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and they are also going through OOPS, ma'am. It's also a very important topic.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the
So,
main thing is projects, ma'am.
yeah, again, three very important pointers when you're sitting for your technical interview is have your project in place, place a good focus on DBMS, SQL, and related technical skills, right? Very important to pass the technical interview and
Yeah.
anything for the HR interview.
So according to me, in HR interview they also ask questions related to your resume, ma'am.
Yes, again,
Yeah,
good pointer that you have pointed out.
yeah.
Yes, updating your resume is very important.
Yeah, because few people they just simply put whatever they want in the
Hmm.
resume,
Hmm.
but in the interview round when they ask questions regarding to that, they don't know, ma'am.
They don't know. So, do
Yeah,
you think that if you put anything dishonest in it, and if you answer, and if you cannot answer, do you think that there are chances that you can get caught?
yeah, ma'am. Sure.
Yes, you can, right? So
Yeah, ma'am.
again, guys, anyone who is watching this, make sure that you have your resume up to date, but only just to look smart or make yourself smart. Don't put in dishonest opinions or dishonest uh, qualities over there,
Yeah.
right? But have a good resume. So coming straight from Akash, these are the very important pointers that you have to keep in mind if you want to get placed in LTI or any other company, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
Thank you so much for these five pro tips. Even though you're not a pro, you think, but for all of the audience, you have been placed and you are a pro for them, right?
Okay,
So
ma'am.
thank you so much for this particular interview. I think a lot of students must have learned from your journey as well, right? So it's a great thing and it's a great pleasure for us to have you for this interview panel. And guys, if you have any other question, we are going to wrap this session very soon. So we are just going to wait for 1 minute. If you have any questions, you can ask. Also, um, Akash has also given us his LinkedIn ID. If you want to go and follow Akash, you can connect with him on LinkedIn as well. The link of his LinkedIn ID will be in the description below. So make sure that you also go and check his profile out, and maybe he can help you out in your placement journey as well. Right.
Sure.
So I think that's a wrap for this particular session. Thank you so much, Akash, for joining us today. It has
Thank
been
you.
a great pleasure talking to you, and congratulations on getting placed.
Thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Akash. So we are going to end this live over here. Thank you everyone for watching this live. We are going to come back soon for another interview experience. Till then, keep preparing and let's meet soon again. Thank you so much, Akash.
Thank you, ma'am.